Alright, so we've added quite a few tools to help protect our codebase from poor types, from breaking desks, from unformatted code. And in the last video, we covered unreadable commits. This, to be honest, is a good enough setup and will actually prevent quite a lot of errors from creeping into your codebase. Now let's focus on releasing your code. The two key parts of releasing a new feature or a bug fix or anything for that matter, primarily for packages, are changelogs and versioning. Changelog is essentially a list of all the changes you have made to the project, and when you push these changes, you normally would also bump the version of your package. This informs the user what all changed in that version. So we are going to use changesets to not do any of this manually. This actually will save us a lot of time. So let's first install changesets. I will go to VS Code and over here, let's install change. Alright, now that it's installed, let's quickly initialize it. So npx changeset init. This will set up a changeset directory, and inside the directory you will see a config.json file and a readme file. Don't really have to worry about this for now. So now let's say you have just fixed a bug or added a new feature. Instead of bumping the version manually, what you can do is you can run npx changeset. This command will walk you through a short interactive prompt. Again, it's going to ask you a few set of questions. The first one is, what kind of change is this for this app? Whether it's a minor change, a patch, or a major change. So if you know what is semantic versioning, you have these three separate blocks inside a version string. You have 0.0.0. Anytime you update the last one, it's a patch change. If you update the middle one, it's a minor change. And if you update the first one, it's a major change. So obviously this is actually a patch change. So I'll do patch and I have to provide some summary. So I'll just add setting up change set. Again, this could be anything. This is just me writing in some dummy text. And I will, this is my desired change. So I'll submit it. Now what happens is inside the changeset folder, you'll find this markdown file. This markdown file has the content from the description that I just passed inside the changeset command. You can add as many changesets as you want, but make sure all of it makes sense, because this is what will be added to the changelog, and the changelog is referred by folks who are going to use your package. So make sure it makes sense. Now once you are ready to apply these changes, you can run npx changeset version. And now what happens is, you see that the markdown file is gone from this changeset folder, and instead you now have a changelog file. This changelog will essentially have all the markdowns from the changeset consolidated together. So since we only had one markdown file, we only had one changeset, all you can see here is that. It also is going to update the version inside package.json. So initially it was 0.0.0. If you see the changes over here, it was 0.0.0. I didn't change it manually. The npx changeset version command did it for me. So it's now updated the version as well. So this will always guarantee that my changelog is in sync with what's actually changed. So now you can actually push this manually. You can literally publish it manually, but you can also automate this with the help of a GitHub action for changesets specifically. So we'll create a CI/CD pipeline for it. Not CD, just CI. So let's go through the entire flow once again. We'll do npx changeset when we think we are ready to push a fix or a feature. Now this could have multiple commits. So I can do like 4 commits, and after those 4 commits, let's imagine that all 4 of them are bug fixes. I do 4 bug fixes in the form of 4 commits, and then I realize, okay, I'm done with this. I can version up now. I can put all of this inside a changelog. So that's when I will do npx changeset. So it's going to create a changeset. I will describe whatever I have changed or fixed in those 4 commits. And then I'm going to do npx changeset version to bump up the version. There's also tagging normally that comes into play, but I do it only when I have a stable version. I'll show you the entire flow of how I do things at the end, and that will make things clear for you. I do like to automate a few things, but tagging and even attaching a release, which again I'll come to in a second, I prefer to do it manually. So from a frequency standpoint, you'd make a lot of frequent commits. When you know you are done with the fix or the feature overall, you add a changeset with description of that change. whatever things you have added in the commits, you can simply consolidate all of them together and you add them in the change set. You then create a change log and bump up the package version with the help of npx changeset version. So this is basically how frequently you'll do things. You'll do commits frequently, you'll do change set less frequently, and you'll do version bumps even less frequently. So the part where you create a change set is supposed to be developer driven, so it ideally should be done manually. But creating a change log and bumping up the package version can be automated. So we'll do that with the help of the GitHub action that I just mentioned earlier. So to set up a GitHub action, we'll need to add a GitHub folder, .github folder, and inside that we'll have a workflows folder. This workflows folder will have a release.yml file, which is going to cover the entire CI workflow. You don't really have to worry about the actual CI pipeline. I myself don't really write CI pipelines to begin with. I went through multiple iterations of this workflow with ChatGPT, and this was the one that was simple enough, but at the same time did what we wanted. I'm not a DevOps engineer myself, and I have very basic understanding of these scripts. So if someone can make improvements to this script, be my guest. All this does is set up Node.js. It's going to install the packages. It's going to run changeset version, which is responsible for creating a changelog and bumping up the version, and then commit those changes to the main branch. So this happens on push. The moment I push it to the main branch, that is when this is going to happen. We can actually add something similar for PRs. So over here, just like we do it for push, we can do something similar for a PR as well. So the moment a PR is merged, that is when this job will also be triggered. So we can do something similar as well. We have the workflow set up properly. So let's actually do a dry run. So imagine I have worked on a couple of bug fixes. Let's add a couple of commits that simulate a bug fix. So I already have a few changes here. I will do git add, and I'll do ncx cz. If you remember from the last video, not ncx, it's npx cz. It's going to ask me a set of questions. I say it's a fix. I'll just say bug fix for now. It's going to go through the entire process again. Okay, let's say I have one more bug fix somewhere. So let's find something to change. So add product. Let's do this. Let's treat it as a bug fix. So again, do the same thing. Git add. Let's do the same thing again. Okay. The test failed because I changed the term here. I'll have to again fix the test. This is a typical dev workflow. So I'll do the same. Instead of this, I'll do add product. Let's save. Do it again. Hopefully we now have 2 commits. And now we are ready to push this to the repository. What happened here? Add product. Oh. The problem was because I have 2 items with the name add product, the button and the title. That's where it got confused. So let's actually fix this. Let's do add a new product. And this time the test is going to be the same. A new. Okay, both of these look the same. Let's save both of the files and let's do this one more time. Hopefully this time it works as expected. Okay, the test worked fine. So everything did work as expected. The commit has went through. Now I know that all my fixes are done. So I'll push a change set. So I'll do npx change set, and it's going to ask me the same set of questions, bug fixes. And ideally I should be adding a few more things over here, but for the time being, I'm just going to keep it as it is. Bug fixes. Yes, this is my desired change set. It's now going to add that MD file. I need to push this as well. I need to push this primarily because my workflow, my CI workflow, the one that I have inside release YML, it's actually going to look at this and do npx changeset version. Npx changeset version picks up the MD files from this changeset folder and then creates a changelog out of it. So I have to push this changeset as part of my commit. Only then it will be able to do it inside my GitHub action. So I'll do that. I'll again do a commit. Again, this might seem like an overkill for you, but this is basically a habit formation thing. If you do it like 10 times, this is going to be pretty straightforward. You'll do this subconsciously. I also do it without any thought process behind it. It has now become natural to me. So this will become natural to you as well. So now the moment I push this to the main branch, we'll have an action over there. An action will run. But before that, actually I have to change a few things. So over here, in the settings, I first need to go to actions and general and let the action write things to the repository, because the action is going to make changes to the changelog and package version bump. So it's actually writing to the repository. The action is doing that, not me. So I have to give the action those permissions. I'll save this. Now I'll do a git push. Let's just do git push origin main. And this is going to push all of those 9 changes. If I go over here and see the actions tab, we have a new action. And this action is essentially running all of those things that we have configured. So setting up Node.js, it's installing dependencies. It's then going to run changeset version. So it's going to take out the changeset folder and the contents from that folder, the markdown file. Based on that, it will create a changelog and it will also push the version. So it's going to bump the version. And again, it's running the tests. It's doing whatever we have configured inside the CI workflow pipeline. And it has pushed changes to the main branch. So now if I go to the repository, I have this new changelog file, which has things from the changeset. This is what we had added inside the changeset. And if I go to package.json, the version also must have been bumped. Yeah, it is now at 0.0.2. We already had done 0.0.1. So the action has bumped up this to 0.0.2. So this has now been automated. Anytime I add a changeset, based on the changeset, it's going to do a version bump and add a changelog. The last step, which I told you that I like to do manually, is adding tags. So I normally add tags when I think my application is stable. So I'll do that. In my VS Code, I'm going to add a tag. It's a pretty straightforward command, git tag, and then you pass in the version. So it's 0.0.2. I'm going to do that. And let's just push this tag to the repository. So this will go through. Over here, if you see, you have a new tag. Let me just reload this. Yeah, we have 0.0.2, and this tag I will normally map to a release so that folks will be able to know what my most recent package version is. It will come over here. So I'll go to the tag. I'll open the tag. Let me create a release out of this tag. And normally I have Copilot in my other account. So I use Copilot to add like a description. You can do it manually. I also generate release notes from here. This is going to give you a list of commits that went through with this particular tag. So if I preview this, I will actually create a release out of it first and then I'll show you. Yeah, so here it's going to give you a full changelog. If I open the changelog, it's all of those commits that are part of the tag. Okay, let's go back to our repository. Let's open up the list of tags. And if you see here, we already have a release, which was version 0.0.2. Now I'm going to bump up the release and point this to a new release, this tag to a new release, create a release from this tag. I'll generate release notes, and this time it's going to give me the difference between 0.0.2 and 0.0.3. So whatever commits were made till that 0.0.2 tag, from that point to 0.0.3, all the commits, which in this case is just 2, that is what I'm going to get in the changelog. So let me publish this release. I mean, again, ideally you should be creating a proper description here, especially if you are maintaining a package that's being used by a lot of people. So changelog again is going to give me all the commits. Now, since this is a dummy package that I'm working with, I'm not really publishing it anywhere, but normally you would also add it as part of your CI workflow, which is to publish the package to NPM or like a private repository. But for this demo tutorial, I have not done that in my action workflow. You can do it in your own workflow. So yeah, that should do it. I know this can get a little complicated and your workflow may not be the same as mine. That's the best part here. I myself have come to this point after a bunch of iterations. You can tweak my workflow and make it even more automated if you want. But I like this for now and have been using it for the past few months. I'm sure it will change in the future, and when it does, I'll make sure to update you guys. Hope this series helped you in some way. If it did, do leave a like, and if you're new here, do subscribe to the channel. If you have any suggestions of your own, you can put them in the comments and I'll try to make a video around it. That's pretty much it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.